right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story is a really big one. Flex Lewis, the winningest 212 Mr. Olympia champion of all time, winning a total of 7 Olympia titles in that category, is officially retiring from competitive bodybuilding. Now, this comes from Dan Solomon, the president of the Mr. Olympia competition, after a couple years of Flex Lewis hinting that he wants to, actually not really hinting, straight up saying that he's going to come compete in the open category. Both the 2020 and the 2021 Mr. Olympias, Flex Lewis had hinted at competing or said he was going to compete. In 2020, he had an injury. In 2021, he wanted to focus on family. But we were excited to see him compete in the open category. But according to Dan Solomon, he is done with competitive bodybuilding entirely. So Dan put up this post. Flex did not. He says, I received a call last night from Flex Lewis. It was an emotional conversation. As he started talking, it was easy to tell that he put a lot of thought into what he was about to tell me. I'm hanging up my posing trunks, retiring from competing. I could tell he felt relieved by his decision. It had been weighing on him for several months as he sorted out all aspects of life while also celebrating his recent birth of his son. I told Flex how proud I am of his decision. I've watched closely over the years as he reached the top of the sport. Always a crowd favorite, Flex made the decision to put his family first, choosing to prioritize things that mean far more than titles or trophies, shifting his focus towards a future that includes dancing at his daughter's wedding, building businesses, and enjoying life with his wife, Allie. One of the hardest things to do in life is knowing that it's time to walk away, knowing when it's time to walk away. So please join me in congratulating the Welsh Dragon on his decision to end one chapter and begin another. I have a feeling Flex Lewis is just getting started. So look, I think we should all support Flex in this decision. As much as I wanted to see him come back and compete in Men's Open, as exciting as I think that would have been, and as I honestly think he would have been a top finisher in the Open Olympia, I think this is still a very smart decision for him. He was good friends with Sean Roden. He was friends, of course, with Cedric McMillan. We've seen a lot of bodybuilders pass away recently in their 40s, and Flex, he's in his 30s, so he's not that old. He still would have had time to possibly peak for Open. But I think Flex probably sees what's going on. He's prioritizing his family. He's prioritizing his health. He wants to live. He wants to be around for a while for his kids, for his family. And I think we should respect that decision. Like I said, as exciting as it would have been to see him compete in open bodybuilding, what does Flex really have left to prove? He already won more 212 Olympias than anybody else, and probably more than anybody will ever win, because who knows how long that division is even going to be around. Realistically, would he have won the Men's Open Mr. Olympia? Probably not. Would he have been a top placer? Maybe top 3, top 6? Probably. But in all honesty, it wouldn't have really changed his legacy one bit had he come back and competed in Men's Open. So I think this is probably the best decision for him. I support it. I respect it. I think everybody else should as well. And I think this is a big moment in bodybuilding history because he's retiring while he's young, while he's healthy, while he's fit, while he is on top. I mean, he's the winningest 212 bodybuilder of all time. So all respect to Flex Lewis. I wish him the best. And it looks like we will not be seeing him on an Open Olympia stage or on any open bodybuilding stage ever. Now, next up in the news, we are just 1 day away from the 2022 Indy Pro, where we've got a lot of really good bodybuilders competing in that show. We've got a lot of updates to discuss here. And first, I want to talk about Charles Griffin. So his coach, Matt Jansen, posted this update just a few days out from the show. I believe this was posted yesterday. And Charles has really impressed me. I've told you guys multiple times, I think it's very impressive that he's doing the vacuum stuff. He's an open guy. He doesn't have to, but he's doing it to help kind of control his midsection and make his midsection look better on stage. And right now, he's really one of the only guys in Men's Open doing a vacuum pose on stage. So him and Matt posted this update where he's doing kind of a front relax pose with a vacuum. And I got to say, like I said, everything has kind of impressed me with Charles that we've seen from him over the past couple weeks. And I honestly believe this is the best version of Charles Griffin that we've ever seen. But this picture with him and Matt, I mean, man, what an aesthetic physique he's got for a guy. Like I said, it's crazy that he's an open bodybuilder. He's got a ton of size, crazy physique. But look how aesthetic he looks here. Look how small his waist looks. Look how impressive that vacuum pose is. Look at his V-taper. This is not your typical Men's Open bodybuilder. I saw this picture. I was very impressed. I mean, it takes you back kind of to the 80s and 70s. Actually, probably more so the 80s and 90s. He's got a ton of size. I mean, he's a big bodybuilder. He's going to be able to hang. I'm telling you guys, he's going to be able to hang with Blessing. He's going to be able to hang with Justin. I'm sure you guys probably saw by now that Peter Clancier is out of this show due to some travel issues, but he is going to be doing the New York Pro. So right now, it's looking like the 3 main guys that we should be looking at are Charles, Blessing, and Justin. And Peter Clancier is out of that conversation for now. But Charles looks good. His conditioning looks good. His structure looks good. The waist looks good, which previously was kind of an issue for him. That's part of the reason why he started working on the vacuum pose in the first place, was his waist. It was a little bit blocky. But I'm very impressed, and I think all the fans are going to be impressed when we see him on stage at the Indy Pro in just one day. So that was posted by his coach, Matt, just a day ago. This was posted today, one day out. He says, I really do love this bodybuilding shit, what it has done for me in regards to giving me life again, putting happiness back in my life after a very dark, dark period in my life. That's why I go so hard in the paint. It's almost time to battle, baby. Let's go. Hashtag the definition. Hashtag living. And again, this picture, another example of how crazy his V-taper is, how good his waist looks, the vacuum pose. He's kind of hitting a vacuum here. I think he's going to be dangerous, and my prediction for him is going to be top 3. I think he's going to be right there in the mix for the top spot. I have a hard time believing he won't be. Now, also in that conversation is going to be Justin Rodriguez. He's the returning defending champion from last year's Indy Pro. Great showing at the Arnold. Great showing at the Boston Pro against William Bonac. These are the latest updates from Justin. I believe these were posted just one day ago, so 2 days out. He's a lot of people's pick to win this show, and this is a perfect example of what we typically see from Justin. He kind of looks the same from like 10 weeks out all the way down to a couple weeks out. He always looks like he's relatively in good shape, but it's that last week, those last couple of days where he really starts to dry out, where he really starts to make some significant changes to his physique and tighten up to a point where he's going to be very competitive from a conditioning standpoint at the show. And I think these pictures are an example of that. He looks a lot tighter here to me than he looked in a lot of the updates that he was posting during the course of his prep, especially in like that 6 to 10 weeks range. He was kind of looking the same in all those updates, weighing like right around the heavy 270s, right around 280. And now he really looks like he's starting to sharpen up and tighten up, and I think he's going to win the show. I'll be completely honest with you guys. Justin is my pick. I think he's going to repeat. I think he's going to defend his title. I think he's going to win the show. And I think we're probably going to see Charles. Right now, based on what we're seeing from Charles, I think Charles is going to be second. And I think Blessing Awodibu is going to end up in that third place spot. So my prediction right now, top 3, Justin wins, Charles second, Blessing in third. Let's talk about Blessing for a second here. Blessing's latest update, which was a quarter turn shot, similar to Justin's. We can actually put them side by side. I believe that would be a quarter turn to the right. And Blessing looks really good too. I mean, it's hard to say, it'll probably be close between Blessing and Charles. To be honest, I think Charles is a little bit more balanced. I think his physique is a little bit more proportional. Blessing is a bigger guy. He's a taller guy. I think his upper body is a little bit bigger than his lower body still, even though in this picture, to be honest, I mean, his legs look great. They do look bigger to me. They do look improved. I think that was the main issue for him last time, was legs looking a little bit flat, and conditioning could have been a little bit harder. But I think a good example here would be like Blessing's triceps. While Blessing has a ton of size, there's some body parts that he needs to bring up a little bit to be more proportional with the rest of his body. And even in this side shot, you can kind of see that his triceps are a little bit lacking in comparison. And hell, Blessing might be the biggest guy in this lineup by weight, by stats. And we can put a side-by-side here even of Blessing and Justin. And you can see Justin kind of has, actually, now that I'm looking at it, Justin kind of has kind of the same situation going on. I think his biceps are more dominant than his triceps in that side shot for sure. But I think it's going to be a battle, man. I think this top 3, like I said, I think it's definitely going to be Charles, Blessing, and Justin. And I think it's going to be a really good battle. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. What are your predictions for the Indy Pro? Who's going to win? Who's going to be top 3? What are the placings going to be? Shout out to Flex Lewis, wishing him a happy and healthy retirement and a happy and healthy family life. As always, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And if you're already subscribed, hit that bell notification icon to be notified every time I upload. As always, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. And by the way, the reason why I haven't been around the past couple days, my birthday was Wednesday. I've been kind of celebrating all week. I might not post a whole lot this weekend. I've got plans, but that's why I've been kind of MIA. But I had to post a video today. Big news with Flex Lewis. Big news with the Indy Pro. All right, signing out.